topics on international relations carry the weight and controversy of military strikes on nuclear facilities. This is a topic that will remind us of apocalyptic scenarios and changing geopolitical shifts with everlasting strained international relations. For countries which are proponents of this military strike on nuclear facilities are the countries which say that it's a necessary evil to prevent nuclear proliferation. And for the countries who are against it, they are saying that this is totally against international law. Join me in this journey as we trace the advantages, disadvantages of military strikes on nuclear facilities, their strategic implications and their everlasting impact. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be dealing with the ethics behind the military strikes on nuclear facilities. The proponents for the military attack on nuclear facilities often place their argument around the principle of prevention and notion of imminent threat. The first thing is, it is absolutely imperative that nuclear weapons don't fall in the hands of unstable regiments or regiments which can be easily toppled. This is because if these nuclear weapons fall in those hands, it poses threat to the neighbors as well as problems with global security. A preemptive strike is might as well good than preventing these nuclear weapons falling on dangerous hands. The second time when the military attack can be used is when the diplomatic relation fails, that is placing bilateral talks to stop them from producing these nuclear weapons, placing economic sanctions on them, putting international pressure. If all these three fail, then this military strike can be used as a last resort to prevent them from developing nuclear weapons. The third reason is, usually these military attacks do not destroy the full nuclear base. This is because most of the time these nuclear bases are present underground and these missiles do not penetrate underground unless we use the bunker buster bombs. What is the advantage of it is that it will destroy the capabilities and critical infrastructure of these nuclear facilities, which will set back their nuclear program by many years, which time can be used to develop a good diplomatic relation with these countries and prevent them from developing their nuclear weapons. The last reason is it can be used as a self-defense by the countries which are facing imminent threat of nuclear attack by their enemies. If these countries feel that the enemy will attack them with nuclear bombs, then they can use the military to attack the nuclear facilities where these bombs are produced. Now coming to the arguments against military attack on nuclear facilities. The most fundamental objection is a military attack on a sovereign nation without the permission of UN Security Council is a blatant violation of international law according to Article 2, Section 4 and Article 51. The second thing is, attacking such nuclear facilities can cause widespread regional conflict, causing many local and neighboring players to join in support of the nation on which these attacks have been carried out, which will lead to proxy wars, conventional military tactics, or in fact dangerous use of biological weapons can also occur. The third thing is something called as the paradoxical proliferation. Destroying a nuclear facility is not destroying knowledge. Many countries after these attacks will go underground, scatter their scientists, and in fact it will increase their resilience to protect themselves, saying that now that we are under attack, it becomes more important than ever to produce nuclear weapons to protect ourselves. This is something called as the paradox proliferation. Now coming to the health and environment catastrophe. Destroying a nuclear facility with radioactive substances can cause these radioactive substances to be released into the atmosphere as well as into the sea, which can render large regions uninhabitable, also cause long-term health crisis for humans who are living in that area. There is an ethical angle also to it. When we conduct these military strikes, it's not like we are going to go attack only the nuclear facilities. We have to take in account the civilian casualties and the infrastructure around which it is destroyed also. Any country using military strike on nuclear facilities usually faces global isolation, economic sanctions, and international pressure to immediately stop these actions. Beyond the immediate conflict, these military attacks on nuclear facilities have strategic implications. The first thing is, legitimizing such preemptive strike on nuclear facilities will cause a dangerous precedent. That is, if countries feel threatened by their enemies who have nuclear facilities, seeing these people attack their nuclear facilities, they will also start following suit and causing global instability. The second thing is, this will undermine the non-proliferation. Right now, the countries are prevented from attacking each other's nuclear facilities by international laws and non-proliferation treaties. But seeing these attacks, these countries will now feel threatened that these laws are useless, they are not protecting me, now I have to protect myself, and they will start launching their own military actions. The third thing is, this will cause severe alliance strain because these attacks on nuclear facilities bring questions of morals and ethics into play, which will force countries to take sides, because of which previous alliances can be affected. The country attacking will lose its credibility also, which will prevent them from asking help in the near future, or the next time they want to carry out a military option for something else. The support from other countries will be prevented because of this. The last thing is, the countries which are being attacked, that region, an entire power dynamic shifts. This will lead to heightened tension, arms race, and a prolonged conflict which will cause a lot of humanitarian crisis. So what are the alternatives for this military strike? The first thing is sustained multilateral diplomatic efforts by making nations sign nuclear deals. Preventing them from developing nuclear weapons is the way to go. If nations don't follow this, we can put economic sanctions on them, which will cause a strain to their economy, and that will make them shift their focus from producing nuclear weapons to their actual survival and improving their country's economy. The third thing which we can do is, instead of conducting military operations like this, we can conduct covert operations like cyber warfare. Take for example the Stuxnet software, which was put by Israel and USA into the computers of the Natanz nuclear facility in 2006. The whole purpose of this was to slow down the centrifuge rods in the Natanz nuclear facility, which will cause the reduction in the production of this nuclear fuel. And it was not detected until 2010. This set back Iran's nuclear program by many years, though the morality and ethicality in this is questioned. The last thing which we can do is increase the role of the International Atomic Energy Agency, make them conduct more inspections, make other countries follow the non-proliferation treaties which are signed in this IAEA, and also make countries trust that the IAEA can protect them in times where enemy nations want to destroy their nuclear facilities. The decision to attack a nuclear facility by a military is in fact a perilous decision a nation can make. It has to weigh against the fear of proliferation and weigh it against the humanitarian problem it can bring, the international disorder it can bring, and the regional instability associated with it. The arguments for is for the security of the nation. The arguments against have far-reaching implications. This is a topic of stark dilemma in our nuclear age. Do like, share and subscribe me for more interesting videos like this.